Hey there, welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Foote with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. How are you guys doing this morning? So I try to come on, the purpose of Coffee with Connie is to come on live with you, or if you're watching the replay, awesome, to come on line and give you some information about closing. You know, it's my passion to educate people about what this industry is all about. And I know that it may sound like, wow, I don't really need to know anything about that. But what you don't understand is when you want to go buy a house, there's a lot of different players in this, and there's a lot of different information to absorb and a lot of different people that help you get to that final goal of owning that dream home that you're choosing. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what is settlement, what is closing, what does that actually mean when I go to closing, what's supposed to happen, and what happens before I go to closing. So thanks so much for taking the time to tune in. Hey, Cecilia, how are you this morning? Thank you so much. If you're tuning in live with us, check in. Say hey. If you are watching on the replay, you certainly can check in as well. I certainly pay attention and stay up on top of it because I like to get your questions and also know who's watching with us so I know who I'm talking to. That way it helps me better make sure I'm giving you information that are things that you can use. So today we're talking about what is the closing process and what does that all mean. So you think in your mind that what the title company does for you for your settlement is brings everything together and everybody comes to the table at their office to sign all the documents. Well, that's a little piece of the puzzle. The title company has a much bigger job that pretty much involves three different areas. Number one is when you write your contract and you have an acceptance on that contract with your real estate agent and you've set the wheels in motion with your mortgage lender, your real estate agent or yourself will contact that title company and get that ball rolling because the title company actually checks the ownership of that property back 60 years to make sure that that property you think you're buying is really owned by the people that are trying to sell it to you and that they have all of the property you think you're buying to be able to sell to you. And one of the things that we always recommend is definitely getting a survey of that property. And we've talked about that in different broadcasts, and I'm happy to talk about that again with you at a later point. But today I just want to talk about the actual chain of ownership in the legal documents, which is public record in the land records. And so that's called the title. The title is the chain of ownership through the legal land records in the county jurisdiction where the property is located. So that title company will actually search all of those records and check and make sure that everything's in order. So that when you take ownership, that your ownership is yours. It is what you thought and you own that uninterrupted. And, you know, it may seem a little bit crazy, but, well, gosh, you know, maybe the sellers bought it 2 years ago, and so didn't the title company do it for them too? Well, they did, but sometimes there are things that different eyes can see, different eyes can catch, or maybe something has happened since that seller took ownership that has changed something about that property. Maybe the county came in and put a road in or widened a road that's in front of that property, so they took some of that property away, so it's a little bit less. Maybe the seller gave the next door neighbor a little chunk of their property because of a land confusion issue about maybe something that's on the property. Maybe the seller gave access to a roadway through that property. So there's a lot of different things can affect that. Maybe, you know, the seller, maybe who they owe, maybe in question to pay off for that property. Maybe they have a tax bill that's due to IRS that IRS has placed a lien on the property. So there's a lot of things that we could be looking for, but we want to make sure that that property that you're buying is what you think you're buying. We do, in fact, do the closing part of this process. Closing is a very important piece of the process because we're coordinating with everybody in the picture to make sure that everything is the way that you understood it when you wrote your contract. The amounts that you're paying the seller, the amounts the seller's paying off to their current lender, the bills that are due for the closing, that everybody's getting paid, that the new loan is set up properly, the lender gives us all that information, and we have to coordinate all of that for them. So we want to make sure that everything's signed properly the way the lender needs so that that loan is secure. And then after closing, we actually disseminate all that paperwork back to where it belongs, including your documents being recorded in the local county land records to secure that ownership. And once that is secured, the ownership of that property is then public record. So anyone doing a search on that property can tell who owns it and if they have mortgages on it. Now, they can't necessarily tell all the details about that, but those are items that are public record. That way, if someone is going to buy that property or sell that property or make an offer or to do different things, if something needs to be recorded against it, then that information's all public record. And the last thing the title company does is they actually create from all of that process an insurance policy that guarantees you that your homeownership is protected. So the title company's job is threefold, but settlement is when you actually come to the table and sign all the documents. That's the culmination of all of that paperwork. And think about it, when you get married, you're working for months and months trying to get all the pieces together for the wedding, and the day of the wedding, all of that comes together. And so that's when the unity happens and all of that comes together. And then after the wedding is the honeymoon and is all the thank you notes for all of the gifts, and all of the bills are paid. So that's give you just on a simple end, maybe that's a comparison to give you a thought about. But there's a lot of upfront work, then there's the closing, then there's a lot of after work. And at the end, as I said, we provide an insurance policy that protects the ownership that you have purchased. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of idea about what settlement looks like, what the job of the title company is, and how closing happens. Hopefully, if I spurred a question, you'll reach out and ask a question. I'd love to help you answer any of those things that you're not quite clear about. And if you would, I would really appreciate if you'd hit that share button, because that way you're helping someone that you know. You may not be buying or selling something, but somebody you may know may be, and we'd love to be able to help them as well. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I always look forward to helping you with good and valuable information about buying and selling real estate. And if you have a question that I didn't talk about today, certainly reach out and ask me that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. Hey, Cecilia, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Foote with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. Hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.